Hey, before we begin, we like to reward you for being a part of this broadcast. Make sure that you leave the phrase that pays underneath this very video on our YouTube channel over at the Kingdom Report on YouTube with the phrase that pays this week, Main Street Cinema, in order to win your very own Kingdom Report mug. Once again, the keyword this week is Main Street Cinema. In order to win your very own Kingdom Report mug, leave that beneath our live video. As soon as the live video posts, you're able to leave comments underneath. Leave that comment with the phrase that pays between now and Monday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific time, and you may just win yourself your very own Kingdom Report mug. If you are the winner, we will reach out to you, ask you which color you would like, and make sure it gets shipped off nice and safe. Once again, Main Street Cinema in the comment section down below on our YouTube channel, The Kingdom Report. Hey, on today's Kingdom Report Live, Disney World's newest restaurant is heading on in. Finding Nemo submarine voyage is down at the Disneyland Resort. However, there's a Finding Nemo stage show that will be premiering at Disney's Animal Kingdom. It's a reimagined show, and Disney has released some details. Disneyland's Nighttime Spectaculars have returned. Disneyland's Genie Plus put out an interesting warning this week. Very interesting. How to maximize magic at the Disneyland Resort. Katrina has a list for us today. And what would you ask Michael Eisner? All that and so much more. Kingdom Report Live starts right after the countdown.
This happy place. Welcome.
Time to kick things off today with a live look outside at the Disneyland Resort, courtesy of the HojoAnaheim.com Mattercam. I'm excited, are you? It looks like a wide shot of the Disneyland Resort area just outside on Harbor Boulevard. Things are looking nice on this beautiful spring day. However, only going to get so much more hot as we head into the week. Hi, everybody. It's Wade for the Kingdom Report, back with you once again. It is such a joy to be part of your weekend. Hopefully you are having a great one. We're going to make it a little bit more magical for you here on the Kingdom Report from the Warner Brothers Studios Media District in beautiful Burbank, California. Just around the corner from the Walt Disney Studios comes this very broadcast. And ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know, we've got two fine feathered friends here in which to feather some news, discussion, and magical talk. Theme park analyst, all around spiffy dude, Tyler Crouch.
So spiffy.
Kickin' cool and creative Katrina Manzone, our travel agent extraordinaire.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen,
We're here.
the duo that makes it go.
That's right.
Let's
That's what we
go.
always say.
Yeah.
That's what we always say. Let's make it go.
And then I say, all right, go.
You came up with it.
And then we go.
Yeah.
What can
And
I do?
And then off they go. Off they go. That's why they're here. They know how to go.
We make it go.
Happy spring.
Happy spring. Happy Saturday. It's a beautiful, nice, breezy 70 degrees here now in LA, which is really nice.
You know what I call that?
A win.
Perfection.
It's a win.
I'm a rainy day kind of guy.
Okay, Eeyore.
It's true.
I like blustery days.
Blustery days.
Yeah.
He
With-
lives for it. It's like he was waiting up until midnight the other night when it started to rain. He's like, watch, as soon as I like go to sleep, it's going to rain. And then it did.
That bizarre late night pour.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
like
always
2
makes me sad
minutes.
when I miss it. Like I wake up in the morning and everything's wet, and I'm like, I missed
I
it
could have
all
been here for
again.
this.
Yeah, exactly.
What a shame.
I know, but I'll live. Life
Maybe-
will go on.
Perhaps you will have some opportunities to enjoy that come June gloom, which we typically have around here.
That's true.
So, yeah.
Yes.
That is entirely possible. Or I know you guys are heading out to Walt Disney World at some point here in the near
I
future.
do not want that rain.
Perhaps that
I have
rain
seen videos
will give
and
you-
I do not want that.
You know, there's
I
there's
don't.
there's a part of rain is great until it's not, and in Florida it's usually not. Yeah.
It's we like the drizzle, and then it like pretty much evaporates by the time it gets down to us. Not Florida rain, because that is bad.
Not the torrential downpours.
Yeah,
of,
no.
Yeah.
No.
with hurricane force
I'm
winds
like a soggy cat. I'll be like crying the whole time.
in your little poncho.
Yeah. We've
Shivering.
definitely been caught running to Mexico for margaritas. Like
That
when
was like
it, when it's like
the
rain, we're
light
like,
end of the tunnel."
It's pouring. Let's go. We gotta get inside. Margaritas.
Stiff arm people off to the side. We're like, Psh, get out of here. It's my margarita.
Shelter the margaritas.
It's very tasty.
Save yourselves, margaritas. Yes. Well, it is a joy to have both of you here. Lots of Disney discussion to get to. Certainly lots of conversation to be had. And that is why we aren't going to waste any more time, no, because there's an awful lot of Disney news coverage to get to from the week. Certainly a lot of favorite headlines that we want to touch on. And you know what I call that? Disney News Review. Let's get into it. Disney News Review time. Hey, friends, it is time to talk some Disney News headlines from the week. Some of our favorite stories, some of the things that made us go,
Things that make you go.
which that happens. That happens. Little hums in you. First and foremost, it is outstanding to have nighttime spectaculars back at the Disneyland Resort. In fact, 3 spectaculars, a parade. So I guess all can be accounted for as spectaculars. I'll call it 2 spectaculars and a parade. There we go. All happening at night, so that makes more sense. But something to share with all of you is that not only is World of Color back, Disneyland Forever Fireworks are back, Electrical Parade all return this week. A big sense of normalcy coming on back to the happiest place on earth. And if you are interested, we've got some information on how you can get yourself just a little bit closer to all of the action without waiting the extreme amounts of time in order to see these types of shows and parades. Main Street Electrical Parade happens to have a dining package if you weren't aware. This dining package is at the Plaza Inn for lunch. It includes a meal, a beverage, dessert, and reserved parade seating. And the dining package is currently priced at $40 per adult, $25 per child. You can book it at Disneyland.com while they last. As I understand it, almost everything for April completely booked out. Check every day, as we like to say. You never know if there could potentially be more openings. However, keep your eye on Disneyland.com and that particular section of reservations for the Plaza Inn and the Electrical Parade dining package. World of Color, FYI, has a virtual queue. So if you're planning on just walking up to the event itself 10 minutes ahead of time, you might be out of luck. World of Color's virtual queue works as such. You must be inside California Adventure or Disneyland before noon. Virtual distribution via the Disneyland app begins at noon. If there are 2 shows, you will be randomly assigned as capacity allows. If you didn't get a virtual ticket, you can arrive at World of Color viewing area. Disneyland recommends about 45 minutes ahead of time to see about standby options. You can check in with cast members and see where they are adding the additional capacity, because typically they do have a section saved for those walk-up guests. However, that is also first come, first serve, so you want to be careful there. World of Color dessert package. If you don't want to get the virtual queue, if you don't want to play the lottery, if you don't want to show up 45 minutes ahead of time, you might have better luck with the dessert package. It is as follows. Dessert packages can be booked at Disneyland.com. Comes with reserved seating, a chair, Tyler,
Wow.
in which you can sit your rump.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
Yeah.
What great technology.
$84 per guest, age 2 and up. So everyone's a Disney adult after 2 in this category. You also get 2 alcoholic beverages for adults age 21 and older, and unlimited soft drinks and bottled water come with the dessert package. And one more thing, the World of Color dining package is something we want to share with you. A choice of table service dining, lunch or dinner at Wine Country Trattoria, California Adventure, or Storytellers Cafe Buffet dinner, starting at $50 for adults, $25 for children. Check in with your host or server about upgrading your reservation to the dining package, and the voucher will grant a reserved viewing area, not a seat, reserved viewing area. So keep that in mind. The dining packages, when it comes to World of Color, will get you an area to stand in. The dessert package for World of Color will get your butt a seat. And Tyler's butt can sometimes be very happy when it has a seat.
It's true.
Yes.
You know, Blue Bayou gave out those little butt pads for a while there, and those are nice and all, but nothing compared to a chair.
Nothing.
Nothing compared to a chair.
Chair is the ultimate luxury in a Disney park.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
There are so
With
few.
a back on it,
Yeah.
it's not a stool. It's a chair.
And 2 alcoholic beverages with unlimited soft drinks and water.
I don't remember having like unlimited bottles of water for the dessert package. I don't remember that. I remember like them just coming over and filling glasses, but
Oh, I can see that.
but the it's like the alcoholic beverages are pretty okay. I mean, they're like, pre-made
Yeah, I remember
blue
one
curacao
of them was,
sweet mix, so I usually
Vodka
just do
and-
sparkling.
vodka and blue curacao or sparkling wine is what it used to be, but
Yeah.
I don't know if they've changed it. Who knows?
Well, it's a new frontier, and potentially
I know. Things are changing all the time.
there might be some new offerings when it comes to that. So something to look forward to. Katrina,
Yes.
how would you rank these in terms of nighttime entertainment worth? And are they worth doing? Are there any sorts of strategies you can share with the audience for maybe a best possible experience? You got your parade, electrical parade, you got your fireworks now, and you got your World of Color all back in order, and of course Phantasmic coming in late May. How would you rank these suckers?
Phantasmic is like my numero one, but I would say like right now I do love Main Street Electrical Parade. I am very biased on it because I grew up watching it when I was a kid, and like in the summers, going to Disneyland with my like family and stuff, we would always watch the Main Street Electrical Parade and like seeing Cinderella come down, and I'm like,
Aw.
and because there's like a new edition, right? So
Yeah.
they took out the end and they brought in a new end, and I think that's great. So I feel like if you've never seen it, I think you really should, just to kind of get that old Disneyland vibe kind of coming back, and then plus you get to see like that really cool Mary Blair type art, in the
Some
end.
of the best.
And like I want to see it. And then I would say fireworks are probably my second, and then World of Color. World of Color is not my favorite. I like it, but I think when you're in such tight proximity to other people, especially like when you're all kind of in the same level, it's not very fun for me because I'm really short. So with the fireworks, it's kind of like you look upwards, so you're able to kind of see it, except if there's like someone that puts their kid on their shoulders, whatever. But I will say I liked the first 2 at Disneyland, so I feel like if you can stake out a legit spot somewhere, I like watching. A lot of people like doing it where on Main Street, we're able to see like the castle and kind of get like the overview. I like Small World because you get the same projections as the castle than you do at Small World. So, and then especially when it comes like if you're able to try to get the Main Street Electrical Parade coming out from the Small World side, so you're able to see it and then kind of relax and chill and then wait for the fireworks to start and then try to get like a really nice spot there, because I think that's like it's a really good one. And then for World of Color, there is no strategy. I feel like just get the dessert package and be happy and sit in a chair and have a couple drinks, and because you get to go in like 45 minutes before the show starts for the dessert party, if I remember.
And get your sweets.
And then you're able to like get your sweets, sit down, and then you kind of I would say choose the higher up chairs because they used to be high and low chairs, and then it's the best of both worlds. Yes, it's like $85, so it's kind of expensive, especially for children. But if they still have the cool sipper cup, because they used to give that for kids, and then if you're an adult, sometimes the kids kind of forget it as they leave, so then you just take it and you ask like the cast members, like, no one took this, can I have it? And they're like, take it. And so then you get alcohol and a sipper cup.
It's true.
So yeah.
Wow. Yeah. And you know who would know about that dessert party more than anyone? Hannah Montana. Because you get the best of both worlds.
I was like, where's this going?
What a tie-in.
I got it. I was like, I'm not singing. You're going to do it.
Not only is it timely, that tie-in, very timely
Oh, yeah.
because Hannah Montana is all the rage over on the Disney Channel 10 years ago. But
Everybody makes mistakes.
everybody.
Everybody has those days. Everybody. I just did a Peloton workout, so I remember it because
I
it was on my
appreciate
boot
that.
camp. So.
And you know what? We will end the show at the party in the USA.
Oh,
That's what
man.
I'll say. All right.
Complete
Sounds good.
turnaround right there.
Speaking of party, there's about to be one in Adventureland because Tarzan's Treehouse is going to become something brand new, according to the East Bay Times and Disney. East Bay Times writes that Tarzan will soon be swinging out of his treehouse at Disneyland to make room for a rethemed attraction that will see a new Disney character move into the 80-foot-tall man-made tree in Adventureland. Disneyland will reimagine Tarzan's treehouse in Adventureland with a new theme and backstory. According to Disneyland officials, the Treehouse experience isn't going away, but the Tarzan theme won't return when the attraction reopens. The walkthrough attraction's new theme, backstory, and reopening date have not yet been announced. Tyler Crouch, this attraction went under refurbishment suddenly in September 2021. That was last year, of course, and has yet to reopen. And only now has Disney indicated a retheme is coming. What do you think's going on over there? To a certain degree, especially doing the Disneyland updates that I frequently do, I'm pretty convinced because work hasn't stopped since September. I can hear it every time I'm there.
Yeah.
There's always people up in that tree. There's pounding going on. There's sawing going on. There's always something happening up there. I chalked it up to infrastructure issues because
Swiss Family Robinson's coming back.
that sucker went down real quick. Seems to be a fan favorite of people saying, hey, maybe this is going to be the returning theme. What's old is new again.
Nah.
What do you think?
I don't think so. You know what I think it is? They're going for Tarzan 2.
Oh, wow.
They're going prequel. I don't know if anybody remembers, but Tarzan 2 is all about little Tarzan. No, I'm just kidding. It's not going to be that at all. Everybody forgets that movie.
Tarzan 2, and now he's pissed.
Sure.
There's the catchphrase.
Sure, yes.
Coming to Disney Plus.
He
12-part series.
If I remember correctly, in that movie, he starts to realize he's not a gorilla. You know, like so it's kind of
Agree.
maybe he could be pissed. You know,
Tale as
You
old as
never
time.
know.
Yeah.
But you know, what would I want it to be? I think it would be really cool. I mean, it's Adventureland. Indiana Jones is right there. They're coming out with the 5th Indiana Jones movie in 2023, apparently. You know, I think it could be cool if they had some kind of Indiana Jones tie-in there, but we know it's a walkthrough, and they're going to want it to be children-friendly. I mean, they need things for kids to do in Adventureland and or just in Disney in general. And I really do think I'm going to go with the popular opinion that they're going to just do Encanto because, I mean, that seems like a no-brainer. I think that I can't remember the character's name. I'm sorry, but one of the family members, you know, has the whole tree section with the animals, and they live in like a tree basically. And I think that would be a no-brainer to just bring that. But I would like to see Indiana Jones. I mean, but again, I just think it's going to be catering to children. So, you know, I've never been a fan of Tarzan. I'm not the biggest Tarzan movie fan either.
You hate
So
Phil Collins?
I was kind of, I really am not a big Phil Collins fan. I'm not going to lie.
That's what it is. Yeah.
And,
Or swinging from vines. You seem
Yeah,
to be very
I just-
against that.
There's
in
no
life.
chairs
Yeah.
in the jungle.
well, remember too, it was in the, there's no chairs in the jungle. Yeah. But remember too, that movie came out in the 90s and they were like, oh, you know what's cool? Skateboarding. Let's make him
Oh, Lord.
skate on trees. And I just never thought that was like a
Very
cool
realistic,
thing, you know?
Tyler.
Tony Hawk and him.
It's not that I want it to be realistic. I was like, oh gosh, why are you trying to make him seem like an extreme sports guy? You know what I'm saying? So it was always kind of a weird
Tarzan Hawk.
thing to me.
I remember
yeah,
watching that on the
Tarzan Hawk.
Disney, was it the Disney Channel when they were like, look at this cool new stuff. Look how he slides down the tree. And I
Yeah,
was
the
like,
computer graphic.
Yeah,
yeah,
it was
do
like
you
the
remember that on the
technology,
Disney
right.
Channel? And they're like, yeah.
I do remember that. But, you know, from what I understand, I heard an interview with Tony Baxter, and I appreciate Tarzan in the way that it did save the tree. Because apparently after Swiss Family Robinson, they wanted to tear that tree down to, like, build a store for, like, merchandise and stuff like that. And they came up with the idea, let's throw Tarzan in there. So at least I appreciate that the tree is still there because of Tarzan. But, yeah, we're going to have to wait and see. I think Encanto is kind of a no-brainer.
Bus driver, move that tree. Also another timely reference to a show from 10 years ago. I'm on a roll today, let me tell you.
Sure.
Tree Makeover Tree Edition. That's what it's. Get Ty Pennington out there with his megaphone. phone? That would be fun, huh? Yeah. Let's make that happen. Yeah, who? What?
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of. Honestly,
Ty,
I'm not
huh?
gonna lie. I'm missing the reference.
Extreme Makeover Home Edition, sir.
Okay.
ABC's
Oh, wow.
most spectacular series ever created.
I remember watching like a couple episodes, so I got it. Don't know who the host was.
I
though.
cried every week. It was beautiful. They built a house in 7 days. Oh,
Wow.
hit you right here. And then they canceled it. All right, moving along. The Disney Genie Plus service from coast to coast seems to be under a lot of scrutiny, has been since it debuted late last year, and continues to create, we'll just say, challenges across both Disneyland and Walt Disney World. Well, earlier this week, a Disneyland Resort app update message popped up via the Genie Plus prompt and said the following: "Pardon the inconvenience, we strongly encourage you to check today's Lightning Lane availability and other park details before purchasing Disney Genie Plus service, as purchase of Disney Genie Plus service is non-refundable. We apologize for any inconvenience." As far as I'm aware, this is the first time this message has ever been pushed out as sort of a warning to people on the app. Now, certainly the last few weeks at Disneyland in particular, there have been no reservations for theme park availability. So, again, we like to remind everybody, you can have a theme park ticket, but you need a reservation to get into the park you want to go to. Capacity is still supposedly capped, and even though it feels like crazy town anytime you go into the parks now, you still need a park reservation. However, the Disney Genie Plus service sends out that prompt, making me ask, as a guest, Katrina, what would a message like this make you think?
Well, first I might be like, this is ridiculous. Because it makes you scared, right? Because they've been shoving down this information down our throats for like the past few months, right? You got to get Lightning Lane. You got to get Genie Plus. This is the only way you're able to have a good experience. This is what it is. And then they throw this message up on your app, and you're like, well, what? And then so you either, get it and not be happy with it because they're not going to give you a refund, and because they clearly said it, and it's like a little pop-up message, so they're not going to give you a refund if you're not happy with it. But then it just makes you double guess if this is going to be the right day for you. Like, am I going to have a fun experience? Probably not.
Probably not.
And I just think that that's like a shame that they haven't really figured it out yet on like how much they're giving Lightning Lane passes for, and it's like, to try to figure out the day so everybody's able to have a good experience, especially standby or Lightning Lane. Because again, like, you can pay for Lightning Lane, but like we were just saying before the show, if you're on Soarin' and you're trying to get it, and you're like, I'm gonna get Lightning Lane, and you get it, but they're only doing half of the theater, then your wait is still gonna be like over an hour and a half with a Lightning Lane. So what's the point of using it? And then you're kind of like turned off the rest of the day because you just don't want to use it, and then you can't really ask for a refund.
At least Walt Disney World has recently come out and addressed the fact that you're only going to get 2 to 3 attractions in a day, right? So they came out and just said it, and I think it's even on their website. Disneyland has not done that.
Yeah.
Right.
So they're at least admitting, hey, even though you're paying this surplus of money, right, this premium for this Fast Pass, basically, you are not going to get probably beyond 2 or 3 rides in a day. So keep that in mind. Of course, $20 out here at Disneyland. So to see a prompt like this raised some eyebrows.
It's crazy because we have less rides and you pay more, and then over there it's $5 less, and you have, if you get a park hopper, at least you're able to get 4 parks, to at least try. But they got to get their together.
It's a lot of stress on the normal family for sure, or even just anybody who wants to go there. Because I mean, if you see that prompt, what are you supposed to do at that point? You're like, okay, well, so it's recommending that I don't get this service, but like we want to skip some lines, but so if we do get the service, we're going to be waiting in long lines. But if we don't get the service, we're going to still be waiting in long lines. So what are we supposed to do?
Yeah.
It's just it seems pretty lame, honestly.
And then you're like on the tram ride to the parks, and they're like, have you thought about getting the Genie Plus? Yeah. And like they're trying to pimp it out for you, and then you're like, well, but on the app it just said not to get it in a way, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like contradicting itself. So
and warning me that if I do buy it, I might not get what I
wanted
originally set out to get.
Right.
So, definitely interesting, and certainly something we will keep our eye on. It was, again, eyebrow raising this past week. I wasn't the only one. It happened to a whole lot of people that have that app and were actively opening it on that day. So something that, again, we will keep our eye on. Over at Walt Disney World, the Animal Kingdom Park is one that has a stage show set to return, and that is the Finding Nemo stage show. That's right. The Finding Nemo musical is being reimagined, if you didn't know. My News 13 reports that Finding Nemo, the musical stage show at Disney's Animal Kingdom, is being revamped and will debut as Finding Nemo, the Big Blue and Beyond this summer. Disney shared a sneak peek of the show on Friday, providing new details about the changes that will be made. Set in the Marine Life Institute from Disney Pixar's Finding Dory, The Big Blue and Beyond has a new script as well as new set pieces and a new LED video wall. One of the new physical set pieces will be a 32-foot long sunken submarine. Other changes include the runtime. The former show was about 40 minutes long. The new show will clock in at 25 minutes. The show will feature both live performers and puppets, as some songs from the original show, such as In the Big Blue World and Go With the Flow, will still be featured. Disney is looking to relaunch this attraction very soon, this particular stage show, this wonderful musical that will no doubt bring us all kinds of joy once again. Tyler, what sort of value do you imagine a stage production like this has in the parks for guests, especially when it comes to a place like Animal Kingdom? People look at that park as sort of a half-day park, we've heard it referred to.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I mean, like any show at a theme park, I think, honestly, the biggest value, especially to the theme park itself, is that these shows are like people eaters. They take in a bunch of people, and that takes people off the streets, out of lines of rides, things like that. So it really does balance out the park a little bit better. And especially with Animal Kingdom's situation, like that show, there's only two things on that end of the park, and it's Everest and Finding Nemo. And like, it was so strange when we were there a couple months ago, having both of them closed, and that whole part of the park was just completely dead, which, says to me that just means that everybody that would be in that part of the park is filling up, the rest of the park. And so it just creates more traffic and all that. So it's really good from that perspective, from an operations perspective, to finally have a show coming back. I know they have like the kite tails and things at Animal Kingdom, but just having a theater production that is going to suck some people in, that's going to be such a great thing. And of course, I mean, there really isn't that much to do at Animal Kingdom, like ride wise. So I think just having that in general is going to be just a great thing to have back. And going back to the people eater thing, I think I saw that they're changing the show from 40 minutes to 25 minutes. And I think that's just going to allow them to get more audiences in, and they're probably going to do more shows a day than they used to. And so I think it's going to be great all around for Animal Kingdom. And I think it's going to be great to see another show again. And we've seen them use an LED wall like that before with like Frozen at the Hyperion.
Right.
And they can do some really cool effects with that stuff, and I can't imagine how it's going to look with the water and everything. So I think it's going to be really an exciting thing to see. That show, Go With the Flow, Big Blue World, those have been classic songs that were actually, speaking of Frozen, they were written by the couple that did the music for Frozen,
not know
right?
that.
I'm pretty sure. So
Wow, that's awesome.
so I mean, they're classic songs that you could still hear Big Blue World in Epcot when you go on the Finding Nemo ride.
That's right, yeah.
But it's going to be good to have them back in a show sense as well. So it's going to be a good time.
One of my favorite shows, too, at Disney's Animal Kingdom. Looking forward to having that back. Click Orlando reports that over at Epcot in Walt Disney World, Disney's getting ready to open its new Connections Cafe and Eatery inside Epcot, announcing the restaurant's opening date to be this coming Wednesday, April the 27th. The company said Connections Cafe is something guests can stop by and enjoy some food inspired by delicious cuisines from around the world. You're going to love this new quick service restaurant. Disney's website reads, the restaurant's design is inspired by Walt Disney's original plans for Epcot and features two distinct dining experiences, according to the company, a cafe and pastry shop on one side and an eatery serving lunch and dinner menus on the other. The restaurant is located to the left of Spaceship Earth, and Connections Cafe features a mural spanning one entire wall called Global Gathering, which is meant to highlight people from around the world gathering around food, the company said. The floor also features inlays inspired by Walt Disney's 1966 Florida project site plans, according to Disney. Now, we understand that this restaurant has already opened in a soft opening form, so people are already stopping in and enjoying some global food. Katrina, what does a menu like this mean to you in a park like Epcot? Certainly, Epcot is known for food.
Yeah. I mean, I think it is a good thing because, again, it is kind of like a refuge for people to come and get air conditioning. They redid all of the booths, and so if you like look on Twitter feeds and stuff, everybody's like super excited because there's outlets at a lot of the booths. There's USB ports at the booths and stuff, so you're able to kind of like grab something to eat, charge your phone, charge whatever you need to do, and kind of just relax. And you're able to like have a drink or something, and like pizza, burgers. I will say that it is kind of like the basic Disney food fare with just a little bit of worldly flair to it. So you got like burgers and pizzas and salads, which are kind of like, I don't know, basic. But I mean, it's cool that they have like a French burger and like a Mediterranean burger, a banh mi. So I think those are really interesting. Like there was a Southwestern burger that seemed like really interesting. Like I was intrigued by it because it had like what was it? Corn chipotle salsa, Oaxaca cheese, and like chamoy and like guacamole spread. And I was like, okay, like this seems interesting. Like I'm intrigued by it. And then there's like a tikka masala pizza that's vegetarian, which is kind of interesting. Like I can't have it, but it sounds okay. And so I think it's just like it's something interesting and different, especially like I don't really think there's not like a lot of quick service food items available in Epcot. It's more like little bites and eats. So except for like Regal Eagle, and I love Regal Eagle, but a lot of people don't really like barbecue. Mm-hmm. And so I think this is like another option for people to have, and they're able to like get, burgers and pizzas and like, a basic kid's chicken strip meal, because you can't really get chicken strips anywhere in Epcot. So if you have like a picky kid eater that just wants chicken strips and fries, then this is their place.
Outside of Refreshment Port, I think. Yeah. It's rest in peace, Electric Umbrella.
I love that name, I love the whole idea of it, but then you walk in there and you're like, I'm not eating here.
Remember when I have world cuisine out my back door here? I don't think so. No.
I think it was because they're open late. That's when the only time I did Electric Umbrella. I mobile ordered and I grabbed like my gluten-free chicken nuggets and fries, and I was able to eat it right before like not Harmonious, but the Illuminations. Before I was like, I ran, grabbed it, came back, and like stuffed my face as I'm watching Illuminations.
Outstanding.
Thank you, Electric Umbrella.
Well, moving along here, back to Disneyland. The warmth and charm of Disney CEO Bob Chapek was on display earlier this week as he stopped by the cast member preview for Disney's Electrical Parade. Let's take a look.
Hey, Bob, so how are you doing?
Hello. Hi, nice to meet you. Hi.
How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
All right, guys.
Bye, thank you.
So, Tyler, has Bob Chapek ever talked to someone before? Has he ever?
Yeah, right? He's like a cross between an android and a lizard, man. I feel like I feel like we come off so mean to him sometimes, but it's just I cannot fathom how such an unlikable person came to run such a people-oriented company. It just is really astonishing to me. Boy, he's doing his best, I guess. But, I think I think one of you brought it. I think it might have been you that you were like, it's a cast preview, so
He's safe.
Yeah.
So he
Yeah.
can, so nobody can yell anything bad at him
It's
because
a
they're all gonna get
fireable
fired.
group. Yeah,
That's
it's a
true.
fireable audience. So that's the safest environment for him to be in because no one's going to risk their life to come and say, shame on you, or I hate you, or what are you doing to the company?
Yeah, but I know it's like a nitpicky thing too, but he didn't even have his name tag on, which I feel like all of the executives, when they're meeting with people, they put their name tags on to kind of be like, look, I'm one of you, I'm a man of the people, and he just, I don't know, I love the hands up thing he does.
Oh my God.
I'm
gonna pose wacky because I'm relatable.
Yeah, it's just,
What?
I don't know.
What is that?
I know we're being really cruel, I feel like, but at the same time, it's just like,
I haven't said
man,
anything yet. So.
it's just, man.
Katrina
I
supports him with just unrelinquished
I mean,
love.
listen, he is not a people person. He's never going to be Iger. He's not going to be that type of person. But you know who he needs to help with this? Julie Andrews, the queen.
Cheers.
He needs to go through princess lessons.
Oh, I see.
There it is.
Let me have my moment.
Queen Clarice.
sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
He needs her to help him just navigate and then just be a people person.
Become
you know what
more
I mean?
relatable. Yeah.
Look at me at Thermopolis. I hate Anne Hathaway, but she did a great job.
Yeah. Well, and if he was wearing glasses, all he'd have to do is take them off, and he'd be a prince.
And he goes from this to this.
Yeah.
And I bring you a CEO. Like
Well, and I'll tell you, folks. By the way, if you're somebody that listens to this broadcast, because I know that there is a majority of people out there that listen as a podcast, that may have sounded fine. The audio of what you heard may have just sounded completely okay. Hi, folks. How are you? Yeah, how are you? How are you? I'm just gonna pose like this. Okay, how are you? You need to watch this. You need to watch this segment. So go to our YouTube channel, check it out on demand. It is something else. The definition of cringe.
it is, and I feel so bad for him because he's not a people person. So it's taking all of his might to like go to these cast members and saying, "Hello, how are you? Should I shake your hand?" Yes,
Yeah.
and then someone's taking a picture, and he's like, "I don't know what to do." And I feel so bad because like there's moments where like I get really nervous being in front of people. Like I'm nervous, like just being on this camera right now. And like, I can only imagine how much people poop on him all the time. And then going out to see all these people that he screwed over and making work doubles to come and say, "Hi, did you look at the parade? I can't wait for you to see it. It's really great." And you're like, oh God. Like,
To his credit, by the way, the fact that he's even doing this is incredible.
It's
Sure,
great.
yeah.
And
It takes a lot of courage.
We railed against him during the Destination D23 event for not being there, for canceling,
Yes.
basically, for saying he couldn't make a flight out from the night before to that morning. So, but he loves the event. The rabid Disney fan event, that would mean so much if he tried to repair sort of the relationship that he has with the fan base, because the fans, majority can't stand him. And so to know that he kind of ran from Destination D23, the fact that he's putting himself out there, even if it is with the safe audience of
Yes.
my employees, and therefore I'm going to push my face in front of them and make them feel my artificial warmth, at least it's a step in the right direction.
He should have handed out churros. That's everybody. That's a way
That's
to
how you
people's
win
hearts,
people over.
right?
Yeah.
Just have someone and just start handing out churros to everybody, Mickey
Yeah.
bars. I think that would have set it up, but then he would have lost a lot of money. But
Hey, and he doesn't lose money.
he doesn't like losing money.
Unless it's the Disney stock. He doesn't like losing money. Well, at any rate, you let us know in the comments. Little cringe? Are we being too hard on the guy? Should we celebrate him a little more? We'd love to hear from you. As always, your perspective does matter. All right, you stick around. More Kingdom Report Live for you next. Remember those carefree days of childhood where the magic still existed? When you didn't feel guilty about eating mountains of cereal with, we'll just say, questionable nutrition? Well, now you can have your cereal and you can eat it too. Because Magic Spoon has re-engineered that same great taste with grown-up ingredients for an absolutely game-changing Cereal 2.0. I adore cereal. I treasure cereal. It's one of my favorite things to eat, but I just can't justify eating mounds of sugar in every bowl. I don't need to worry about that with Magic Spoon, because it's high protein, low carb, and 0 grams of sugar in each serving. I know, it's hard to believe, but it also comes in 6 delicious flavors: frosted, fruity, cocoa, cinnamon, blueberry, and peanut butter. Plus, they've got limited edition flavors released throughout the year, like gingerbread or peaches and cream. So taste that magic of childhood all over again and get yourself some Magic Spoon cereal. Plus, take $5 off your order at checkout. All you got to do is insert the promo code Kingdom Team. That's right, Kingdom Team at checkout will get you $5 off your next order at magicspoon.com. That's magicspoon.com. Promo code Kingdom Team. Well, by golly, it's the Disney List, where we take a look at some of the best and maybe some of the not so great things about the Disney theme parks and list them out for you. This week, a list from Katrina happens to be in order, and it happens to be about the Disneyland Resort. In fact, the 4 best ways to maximize the magic on a visit to the Disneyland Resort. Katrina, take it away. What 4 you got?
Okay. I love this one. Only positivity. So my first one to kind of like get that magic vibe is to interact with characters, right? It's always
Heck
fun.
yeah.
Like, and now you're able to like kind of get up and close and personal with the characters again. And it's always fun just to kind of like, I mean, I love the Fantasyland characters, so I would love to see like seeing like the evil queen come around, and then you see like the princesses kind of wandering around and chit-chatting. You see like Gaston trying to get everybody's attention and like away from the beast. Like, I always love those interactions that they have, so I think that's really great to see from. And then it's like fun for your kids to kind of start interacting with them too. And then just riding the Fantasyland rides too. I mean, I feel like everything that I love is always just in Disneyland, not the resort. But it's just riding the Fantasyland rides are just so much fun, just to kind of bring in the magic of like old timey Disney. And then like Casey Jr., I say it every single time, ride it at night. If you've never seen the show, I'll tell you. Casey Jr., the little choo-choo train, Fantasyland, ride it at night. Get the back caboose.
Often overlooked, I think, by people. You know,
It really is at
It's kind of
night.
tucked out of the way, and so at night, especially,
it's
if
like,
you don't know the queue is up, you know, because it's elevated. So if you don't
True.
know the queue's up there, you're gonna walk right by. I think most people do.
And it's usually pretty empty at night.
like
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
after the fireworks is like the time to do it. It's just great. And then because you don't want to get in like the little box cars, but you just want the one like when you're outside, and like the end caboose when you're facing the opposite direction is just it's so pretty. And then you get to see like Matterhorn at night, and then you just get to see like the little twinkly lights, and you get some really great pictures, and it's gorgeous. So
you-
just do it.
You don't like the tiger cage?
No,
That's not for you?
Ugh, no, I
shame.
can't get in a tiger cage.
What a shame.
Nah,
Wow.
I can't.
You get your own outside.
I can't.
no
I can only
box.
imagine like how claustrophobic I would feel being stuck in there.
They are
I'd be
pretty
like,
small.
"Oh,
yeah,
God."
yeah.
Even if you paid me, I wouldn't get in there. It depends on how much you'd pay me, but I probably would not go in there. But then like I guess this kind of revolves around Fantasyland, but I would say Small World. You know, I know there's a lot of haters out there, and I know you're probably rolling your eyes right now, being like, "Oh God, Small World magic." Bleh. But I love Small World. I think it's a great ride. I think that it kind of just brings in a lot of magic, especially for kids. I like as adults, I get it. We grow out of the song. We kind of like, oh gosh, this is really boring. But I mean, when I was a kid, I rode that ride all the time. My mom would be like, okay, let's go again. And I would ride it like probably 6 times every time we would go. So I
A
love it.
fanatic.
I am. And then
Wow.
on top of it, too, it just has a beautiful facade. And then now they have that show that's going on for, we don't talk about Bruno. And so you're able to kind of see that at night. And it's just always really fun.
How neat. And you know,
yeah.
you mentioned the characters too, and really feeling that magic. And obviously, just recently, the traditional character interactions came back, and I have to tell you, I have not seen that level of joy in the
man.
park since Disneyland reopened. You know, watching people come together again, especially the children, being able to embrace Goofy, being able to embrace Mickey. I saw more parents kind of pushing their kids out of the way to get to Mickey this past
They're
week.
So
just doing it for
magical. It's
themselves.
beautiful.
I mean, it means a lot to people.
Yeah.
I think to kids and kids at heart, there is such a significance in hugging your favorite. And we all know that these characters are who they are.
Characters, yes.
We all know that. But there is something truly magical.
There's like a nostalgia thing, you know, like
Exactly.
you meet your heroes, right? And I think that's what brings the magic too. Is like even if you don't want to hug them, like I'm not a big hugger when it comes to like characters and stuff. I just think it's just weird. I don't know. But when I see like a little kid just their eyes just get so wide seeing Mickey Mouse or whoever, and they just lose it and then just take off and running to that character, I think that is the most sweetest thing, and it always like makes me want to cry because like, and that brings my magic, right? So it brought that kid magic, it brought me magic because it's just seeing your heroes, like, and then I just live through them, you know. And I think that's just like really pretty. So
That's a great way to put it. Seeing
Yeah.
your heroes. It's exactly how it feels. You know,
Yeah.
especially Disney characters are so iconic. I mean, far more brand wise than I think almost any characters on Earth.
Yeah.
That they mean more.
like I'm
to
not going to
people,
run
too.
to King Julian over at Universal.
King who?
Yeah,
See,
right?
exactly. There we go.
I mean, he's cute, but I'm not gonna go run over there and start crying, you know. But I think like seeing little princesses run to their princess favorite is just, I think that's just a really magical thing to do,
Yeah,
you know.
heartwarming.
Yeah. So anyway, and then my last thing is I think what brings magic, especially for me when I was a kid, is getting a souvenir that you can always kind of cherish. Not like a candy or something that kind of goes away, but something that you can cherish and just remember and like take to show and tell. Like you go on a vacation and you come back and you want to
Sure.
show your story and like all that stuff. And I think like maybe getting like Mickey ears and like getting your kids to find like a really like their pair and then put their name on it, or getting mini like you know, mini Mickey ears, a hat or something where they can embroider their name on it. And then they're able to keep it. Like I still have my first Mickey ears, like when I was a kid, and I still remember it and stuff. And so I think that's a really great thing to kind of bring in the magic, is try to find something that's like sentimental, but it's not, you know, like a fad thing that your kid's gonna get bored and like throw it away, like a toy or you know whatever. So just something that you're able to kind of like have a keepsake. So one day down the road, your kids are able, like you're able to give it to your kid and be like, do you remember this? And hopefully they remember, you know, and then they cherish it.
I love that. Yeah, I think I still have back in the house I grew up in, my first trip Mickey Mouse piggy bank.
Yeah,
I
see?
still have a Mickey
Wow.
Mouse piggy bank, and
Yeah.
every time I see it, I think of that first trip. And all I can really remember from my first trip, because I was so little, was just how big and hot the parking lot was at the end of the day.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I still
Yeah.
remember those times too. Like I remember the parking lot feeling like it was a giant savanna
Yeah.
and there was no end in sight.
Is that a
And-
mirage?
Yeah.
What is that out there?
Yes.
Yeah.
I felt the same way.
Tyler, any honorable mentions for maximizing the magic at Disneyland?
Yeah, I think I have a couple. I was thinking, you know, what's one of the great parts about being in Disneyland in general is just kind of taking in the atmosphere and, you know, actually taking a second, take a breath and like think about where you are, like do some people watching or something. And I think one of the best ways to do that, and it also brings you back to kind of original Disneyland in a way, is to ride the Mark Twain. I think that
yes.
I think that going on the Mark Twain and taking in all the vibes, it really gives you a second, like I said, to breathe, and you kind of just look out, you know, to all the people walking by trying to get to Haunted Mansion or anything
Poor
like
canoe
that. And
people.
yeah, you
Struggling.
yeah, you see the canoes going by, and you're like, I'm not doing that, so I feel pretty good about myself. You know,
I'll
it's-
take the comfort of the Mark Twain riverboat any day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's my favorite phrase. I'm always like, me too. Every time. Yeah. This
And-
boat captain gets it.
Yeah, he understands.
He
yes.
understands. Yeah.
But you know, I know this is like not a regular occurrence, but like there were like I know they did it for one of the, what was it, Sweetheart Nights recently or some things like that. But sometimes they'll set up like a whole freaking band on the bow of the Mark
yeah,
Twain.
those are usually
Oh, so
special
awesome.
And you
events.
just
Those are the
and you
best.
do a lap at night with the band playing, and it is one of the most magical. I know that you can't do that on a regular basis, but Mark Twain is just a magical vessel.
Wildly underrated magical vessel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay,
And
this
so-
is our wedding, right? Is
Yeah.
hire the Mark Twain. Have the band on there,
just I
dinner,
can't
go
Love that.
around there multiple times for 5 hours.
I
Perfect.
can't imagine how expensive a wedding on the Mark Twain would be.
Who wants to contribute to this
oh,
beautiful
please.
event? We're going to sell tickets.
Yeah.
It already looks
exactly.
like a giant wedding cake, that Mark Twain.
Oh, it does, yeah.
It kind of does, yeah. New idea. Let's make the wedding cake look like the. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my God.
No.
Whoa.
Mind blower.
Whoa.
But I think another magical thing for me that we get to do kind of more often than you would think, actually, is like, you know, I'm not trying to toot my own horn here or whatever, but we get to go to Disneyland, you know, fairly frequently, and so I don't always feel like I need to watch, you know, these shows at night, you know, the spectaculars and things. So one of my favorite things to do is head to the rivers of America at night. And it's usually when those shows are going on, it's pretty dead over there. And like last time we went to Disneyland, we rode Splash Mountain and Haunted Mansion back to back with literally like no line. And that's just one of those things, especially like Haunted Mansion and Splash Mountain at night, because Splash Mountain has the outdoor sections. So it kind of lends itself to, you know, more atmosphere. And of course, just ghosts are spookier at night. So
They are.
You know,
It is very spooky.
That's just the way it is.
They come
I
out to
didn't make up the
socialize more.
rules. Yeah, exactly. So, and you know, the interesting thing too that a lot of people don't think of is you can see a lot more, like in these dark rides when you go at night, because your eyes don't have to adjust as quickly from like coming out of the sunlight. But anyway, I think it's just I always have a lot of fun, and it feels very magical when we get to just kind of quickly bounce from ride to ride, and the atmosphere is beautiful out there. You kind of hear the banjo plucking over by the rivers of America, and I think those are a couple magical things that I really enjoyed doing at the Disneyland Resort.
You painted such a picture for me. So immersive.
He's like, I'm going there now.
So
Bye,
immersive.
guys.
I was just there in my mind,
Yeah.
thanks to his description. So thank you both. How would you maximize the magic on your next trip to Disneyland? What sort of things do you already do? We'd love to hear from you. Please leave that in our comments section. All right. You stick around because there's more Kingdom Report live next.
Looking for some digital magic to help you through your week? The Kingdom Report is here for you, covering the latest Disneyland and Disney World news, experiences, and events. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Kingdom Report Live so you never miss an update. And drop a subscribe on the Kingdom Report YouTube channel for new videos every week. Don't miss out. Join this growing community of theme park fans as we aim to connect you to more of what makes you happy. For more information, visit KingdomReportLive.com. And now, back to the magic.
The One Thing is here, where we take a look at one specific topic, one specific question, one specific idea. Today, it's one question. And who's that one question for? Well, if we had the opportunity to ask former Disney CEO and Chairman Michael Eisner one question, what would that be? Michael Eisner, the former Walt Disney Company CEO and Chairman, as mentioned, he is somebody that served the Walt Disney Company as the foremost leader from the mid-'80s all the way up until the early 2000s before a shareholder revolt ended up being his demise. It was a pretty dark time for the company. However, Michael Eisner, many people celebrate for the fact that he kind of saved Disney in the 80s and then made it a household name all over again, sort of re-emphasized the importance of Disney globally, and really laid the foundation for the Disney decade of the 1990s, you know, when times were good. But he was somebody that definitely made a lot of impact on Disney parks in general, everything from the expansion of Walt Disney World and just how spectacular that became, and then also the not-so-great expansion to the Disneyland Resort with DCA version 1. Yeah. So at any rate, Tyler, when it comes to one question for Disney CEO and Chairman, former Michael Eisner, what would you have on the top of your head?
I guess as far as like a general question goes that's less about Disney in general, to be honest, I feel like I would ask him how personally did... Well, let me back up.
Okay, back up.
So Frank Wells, you know, was his right-hand man, and he died in a tragic helicopter accident when he was skiing, I believe, and you know, I think that really affected Eisner in a big way, and at least it did professionally. But I guess I would ask him, you know, how did he feel just losing what seemed to be not just a coworker, but also a good friend of his. You know, how did that affect him personally as well as professionally? But you know, I think the main question that I would love to ask him about Disney is what would he do? Because obviously we all now love California Adventure. It's a great park, but when it first came about, it wasn't the park it should have been. I think everybody can admit that. I think Disney admitted that in the fact that they redid the entire park, basically, right? So I guess, you know, what would Michael Eisner think that they should do, or if he could go back and kind of redo the whole planning of California Adventure and how much money they decided to put into it and kind of how much they decided to pull back on kind of that Disney magic, like what would he change at this point? Because, you know, we've obviously have Buena Vista Street, which is a much better opening to a park than the original DCA 1.0 was. But yeah, it was an underwhelming park when it first opened. So what kind of things did he think they did that they misstepped, and what would he do to fix that?
Certainly lots of storied history chronicles of Michael Eisner era, and a lot of ideas that were put forward originally for what was going to be the second gate for the Disneyland Resort. And we've heard of two in particular that sounded just incredible. Port Disney, which would have been out at Long Beach, and then Westcott, which would have been the West Coast equivalent of Epcot, both of which, you know, over the course of years, designs have been sort of leaked over the course of time, and seeing what originally, I guess, was cooking just looks spectacular based on some of the original concepts Imagineers had come up with. But to be a fly on the wall, you're right, Tyler, to hear from, I guess maybe at that time, to be a fly on the wall and to pay attention to sort of what those conversations were like in the beginning of planning, and then what it was like towards the end, where they finally decided on, and we're going to have a park about California in California.
Yeah.
Because that makes a lot of sense.
It's still a really interesting choice, even to this day, but at least they realize now that, you know, I think the original idea was like, hey, people can come to our theme park and then they won't have to go to San Francisco or any of these other places because we'll have the Golden Gate Bridge right here, you know? And it just, the people that want to see the sights of California aren't going to be like, well, let's just go to a theme park and that'll be like the same thing. It's just not like that. So at least they've realized now that they need to change, like with Buena Vista Street, for example. It's Hollywood, but it's a different time period for Hollywood, you know? So I think they've realized that, like,
they connected it all to Walt, right?
Yeah,
you know,
they
that
connected
makes
it to
a big
Walt.
difference.
And yeah, but beyond that too, it's just like they realize that that people aren't going to come just to see this so-called site. They're not real sites. Living
brochure.
Yeah, exactly. They got to make it something special, and tying it back to Walt Disney is one of those ways they did it, you know. Even the pier, they've realized we need to change the pier because, you know, when Walt Disney first set out to build his theme park, he was like, I don't want it to be like all the other parks. I don't want it to be
not an amusement park, not a carnival.
Yeah,
that's not what we're doing here.
And what did they do when they built the pier? They built the carnival that Walt Disney said he didn't want his park to be. So, you know, they've realized at this point they had to inject some Disney magic into every single facet of that theme park, and it's been working. And you know, you brought up Westcott and stuff, and I think that DCA now more than ever is actually feels a lot like Epcot in certain ways when you think about the different festivals and how it kind of has become about more of a food and drink thing, more adult oriented, I feel like, than you know, Disneyland is. So certainly. I think that they've been doing a good job of turning it around, but I would be really curious to see what missteps Eisner thought they made.
Very cool. Yeah. You left several comments on our YouTube community page over at the Kingdom Report on YouTube. Here's what you had to say. Princess Marlena says, what the hell were you smoking regarding Disneyland Paris? But I'll admit, Phantom Manor is pretty awesome. Mitchell says, if you were given a second chance to run the company, what would you do differently compared to your last run? C. Munoz says, can you please come back? Not that you're the greatest CEO Disney has had, but definitely better than the current one. Jake says, would you handle your leadership decisions? Oh, yeah. Would you handle your leadership decisions? I think he means yes, differently after Frank Wells's death. Jasmine says, would you ever come back as CEO of the company? Because we need saving. And BY says, I would ask him, how do we get rid of Bob Chapek? Although they write paycheck, and bring the magic back to Disneyland. Repeating themes there. We see for Michael Eisner, if people had one question for him. Katrina, let's throw it on over to you. You got a chance to ask Michael Eisner a question. What are you going to ask the guy?
A very general one is one of them. What was your favorite tie?
Oh, he wore a lot of those Mickey ties.
Because he always loved wearing the ties, and it just brought more of like his fun, like not like goofy self, but just like the love for his company, right?
Yeah.
So like you don't see Bob Chapek wearing anything, like not even his name tag. So I think that was really great. So I'm curious what his favorite tie was,
I like that.
and whatnot. And a serious one about the company would just be if you're able to go back and like if you're able to become like CEO again, would you try to come back and like redo and try to bring like a Westcott or try to bring like Port Disney or something there and bring it back? And then if he's able to even go back in time and change something, what would it be? If he was able to have like the funds and money to do it, like Euro Disney and whatnot, when he first started opening it.
Feels like that may have been his biggest blunder ever. Certainly the most costly blunder of all time was Disneyland Paris, Euro Disneyland, as they called it at the time. Amazing history when it comes to that story, too. More of your comments now. What would you ask Michael Eisner? Here's what you said. Anthony says, whatever possessed you to make DCA 1.0 the most abomination planet on planet Earth, rather. Grant J says, what do you think about DCA today? I'd like to know that too. Mike's Adventure says, will you admit you stole park plan ideas from Universal and opened Disney MGM Studios? And did you blunder and not read the contract details of the MGM name usage rights for the park? That's two, but the first is more important. Melvin says, did you ever mend fences with Roy Disney before he died? And Jeffrey Katzenberg. Yes, that's right. Both two men that he had quite the falling out with. Roy Disney having brought him to Disney to save the company. And then in the end, Roy Disney asked him, can you leave? You are creating a hellscape for all of us.
I would love to ask Roy Disney about Chapek at this point after his thoughts on Eisner, because Eisner is a saint and angel compared to, what we've got going on now. But anyway.
But Roy loves money, though. Like, he was the money man. So I think he probably would like what Chapek's trying to do, but not what he's doing because, like, what he did with his brother. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Roy was the money, Disney was, and Walt was the imagination, right? Like,
right.
And then so I feel like he probably would like his money tactics.
However, Roy Jr., being the head of animation at the time, I think this is who he's referring to. That's okay.
I thought he wanted to go back in time, and then he wanted to ask Roy Disney.
Oh, no.
I thought you meant like going back. Okay, never mind. Just kidding.
Maybe Roy Disney Sr., you're right. He was the money man, so potentially he would celebrate the paycheck era. I don't know, yeah. Moving along, Melvin says, FM Jeeping says, how often do you think, what would Walt do prior to making decisions? How would you think Walt would react to the current state of events at the parks and company? Mad Mal says, why did you screw over the people mover at Disneyland?
Yeah. Euro Disney is no big deal compared to what they did to the people mover.
We have never gotten over it. That's
No.
right. Oh, please says, why Paul Pressler, executive of the 90s that led to a dramatic downfall of the Disneyland Resort, that's for sure. A lot of lack of care certainly vies for one of the most hated executives in the company, probably next to Bob Chapek. I don't know. So certainly something that I think Please also not only wants to know, but certainly something that in terms of if we ran a poll, Paul Pressler versus Bob Chapek. I don't know.
That's a good one. That's a good poll.
For people that were around at that time that remember the Paul Pressler era, it was a dark one.
Really remember Paul
But
Pressler.
ladies and gentlemen, we want to know from you, if you had one question to ask Michael Eisner, former Disney CEO and chairman, what would it be? Leave it in our comments. As always, your perspective, it matters. All right, my friends, wrapping things up here one more time. You can win yourself your very own Kingdom Report mug. All you got to do is leave the phrase that pays underneath this very video on our YouTube channel, Main Street Cinema. Main Street Cinema. Main Street Cinema is the code word this week. Leave it in the comment section underneath this very video. You got yourself your very own Kingdom Report mug. Between now and Monday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific time is the time limit you have in which to leave that comment. If you are the winner, we will reach out to you, let you know that you have won, and then send a nice mug your way. Main Street Cinema in the comment section underneath this video after the live video posts. Well, my friends, that about wraps up things for us here at the Kingdom Report. We want to thank you for being a part of the broadcast. As always, it means so much to us, whether you joined us live or you are watching on demand. There's nothing like being with you on the weekend and bringing you a little bit of Disney Parks magic and discussion. You let us know if there's anything we can do for you. Leave that in our comments as well. And don't forget that the legacy of Walt Disney lives on between people like you and me. It's because of us. We'll see you next time, Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific, for an all-new Kingdom Report Live.